There we go. There we go. 9 games in a row. 9 games in a row. And we are in the playoffs. That's all it took, folks. Go on a 9-game winning streak. And we are 1 game ahead of the Atlanta Braves. And we're half game behind the D-backs for another wild card position. So it is just so amazing. And give all the credit in the world to Carlos Mendoza, the Mets roster, Lindor, Alonso, Quintana tonight. Oh my God. If our fourth pitcher is pitching like that, how good the sky's the limit, folks. The sky is the limit. A lot of times it takes your team getting hot, coming together at the right time. You need that right momentum, that right positive energy, and it looks like we have it here. Folks, before we get into today's video, and I do want to get into the win. I want to get into what this means. I want to get into a play of chances, and I do want to get into the Jeff McNeil injury. I got some pretty good comments about that. I'm pretty sure you want to stick around for that. So, but before we do that, I need you to do me a favor. This is amazing. This is an amazing run the Mets are going on. I need this to be one of our most liked videos in quite some time. If you haven't been subscribed, please, this is your chance. Subscribe now, even if you're not a Met fan. We love baseball here. If you enjoy good baseball and you see our New York Mets, we're finally playing good baseball. Like, subscribe, join the family. I really do appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. Let's take this run all the way to the World Series now. All the way to the World Series. A couple of days ago, before we went into the Red Series, and we were on a 7-game winning streak, and we were sitting at, I believe, 76 wins, I said we're going to at least need 91 wins to make the playoffs. Right now, we're on a 9-game winning streak, and we are doing, like I said, we are playing very well. We have 78 wins now. So we are 13 games away, 13 wins away from my target. 91 wins. We might need more, we might need less. 91 wins, I think, will get us in. So we have 20 games left. So that would mean we would have to go 12 and before I embarrass myself, let me look at how many games we have remaining. Okay, we have 20 games remaining. So we would have to go 12 and 8. 12 and 8. So that is extremely feasible. But I said to make it easier down the stretch, it would be so beneficial if we swept the Reds, which we're 1 game away from doing, and we sweep the Toronto Blue Jays. That would mean we're at least on a 13-game win streak. If we somehow pull that off, and we're 4 games away from doing that, that would make the stretch run that much more easy. And you see what we're doing, folks. We are putting pressure on other teams. And, not only are we playing well, it's tough when you see a team like the Mets running off 9 games in a row, and everybody was worried. Oh, the Braves, they're playing an easier schedule. Well, folks, the Braves, you can't win all the time, right? You can't win all the time. The Braves went on this streak kind of last week, and I think they're going to fizzle it out. I really do. They're missing a lot of the top tier guys, but even if they do find a way to put it together, we got the D-backs fizzling out. Because of us, we are putting so much damn pressure on these teams. So great job to Carlos Mendoza and the guys. Tonight was phenomenal. Tonight was a phenomenal game, and it's got to start off with Quintana. Quintana going out there, especially with the Mets not scoring until the 6th inning. He had to be strong. He really had to be strong. Last night, we had that big clutch performance by Vientos. Today, it just wasn't coming early on. We had some opportunities, but, we had to wait to the 6th inning today. We had to wait to the 6th inning. That's when we got it going. Harrison Bader, clap hands for Mr. Harrison Bader. All our, 4th, 5th, 6th outfielders, I gotta say, I gotta clap my hands. We are, Tyrone Taylor, Harrison Bader, these guys that you don't really expect are having a season. And they're not having, an all-star season. They are having a good, productive bench season slash, center fielder, defensive replacement. They are really good. I mean, Jose Iglesias, it's just really extremely impressive to watch this team come together. And it's just really I'm a loss for word because this is really the point in the season where we're not really used to as Mets fans. We're not. I'm going to be whole honest on that. And it feels like we're holding each other's hands because there are so many Mets fans waiting for the other foot to drop. Really, this is all I see the comments. Oh, it's impossible. The other day, when we're on a 7-game win streak, people are saying it's impossible for us to get to 90 wins. I'm like, impossible? We're like 13, 14 games away. It's not impossible at this point because of how good the Mets have been, because of how productive we've been. The second half of the season, we are the best record in all of baseball the last 85 games. How amazing is that? We are the best. Mets fans, I know we are used to being second class. We are used to the bottom dropping out. But listen, I repeat, we are the best team in all of Major League Baseball the whole second half of the year. And it's not a 20 game. It's not a 30 game. It's not a 40 game. It's not a 50 game. It's 80 plus games and counting. 80 plus games and counting. If we finish strong the last 20 games, that means we will be dominant over the last 100 games going into the playoffs. And I love the fact that we have a bit of a competitive schedule down the stretch. We don't need to take our foot off the pedal. It will be pedal to the metal going into the playoffs. That's what I want. I feel like at the end of 2022, we took our foot off to the pedal. And then when we were playing the Braves at the end of 2022, we tried to actually step on the gas. But if you're not playing high-level opponents all the time, it's not that easy. Now, we've been playing in this players' atmosphere for the last 2 weeks at least, but really since the beginning of June. This season could have been over long ago, but there's a hero almost every night, a different hero. And I love the clubhouse vibe. I've said it so many times, Iglesias, Winker, and everybody, a couple people were like, why are you so happy about the Winker trade? I mean, I was calling for the Winker trade days before we acquired Winker. Not because I think he's the best hitter, not because I think he's the best all-around player, but I see he fits this team, and I see what type of clubhouse guy he is, and I see how an impact he can have on our other teammates. Just like the way Lindor and Pats Vientos and the other guys, I mean, Iglesias has that impact. Winker has that impact. There's such a thing in team chemistry, team culture. So I'm super excited. Today's game, unfortunately, I was working, so I caught bits and pieces of it. But it was just another game where we took care of business. Taking care of business. That's what we need to do. Taking care of business. This is why I created a little leeway in our schedule in the next 2 weeks. When we play the Phillies, if we dominate against the Reds and we dominate against the Blue Jays, we could take 2 out of 4 from the Phillies when we play them. At the last 6 games of the season, when we're going against the Brewers and the Braves, we don't have to win all 6 games. We don't have to win 5 out of 6. We can win 3 out of 6, preferably 2 out of 3 from the Braves, so we take the tiebreaker. But, you take a bit of the pressure off. So I mean, you never know what happens. You never know what happens. So, I like to win them all. But I know, you still have to be realistic. So let's get to Mr. Jeff McNeil, aka the Squirrel. Jeff McNeil was having, I guess maybe you could say, a bit of a renaissance year. He's got 11, 12 home runs. He doesn't get into double digits much, but, his average was lacking. I would say his most productive asset is that you can move him all over the field, outfield, infield. If you needed him to play third, he could play third. He was a kind of a jack of all trades. I liked his arm in the outfield, but that was really more or less what he was. When he was in the game, second base, he was at the end of the lineup. He's a former batting champ, so he does have the ability to put the bat on the ball. He doesn't strike out a lot, so that's good too. So you can hit and run with him. So he does have strong suits. But I tell you what, folks, Jeff McNeil used to be a huge cog on this team. Jeff McNeil has had his, I don't want to say problems in the past, but he's had his emotional issues where he would get angry, this and that. And I felt that had a negative impact on the club. But this year, the good thing is the role of Jeff McNeil has been greatly diminished by the emergence of Jose Iglesias and others. Luis Angel Acuna, that might be an opportunity for him. I don't think this is going to be a bad thing. That's what I'm trying to say. In the last couple months, we have won in spite of Jeff not being a big piece. He has not been a big piece. When I say big piece, that means he's not like a guy, Pete Alonso, in the lineup, like a guy like Lindor. Am I saying that he didn't perform? His performances weren't important in spots? Yeah, he had some very important performances, especially coming into the second half of the season when we weren't hitting. He was one of the few guys sparking this team. So it was important. He did play an important role. But right now, when we have all cylinders starting to click, Jeff McNeil's role, I feel, was going to diminish more and more and more. Especially Jose Iglesias. I see him as a bit better defensively. I love the second shortstop combo with Lindor and Iglesias. Those guys are magical out there. Magical. You got Marte coming back, so you have extra help in the outfield, extra depth. Essentially, you look at it like this. In the last couple of weeks, Marte can replace McNeil, as far as a spot on the roster, and then if you need extra help in the back, extra help in the outfield, Taylor, he'll get a little more playing time. I'm not, that trade-off Taylor for McNeil in the outfield, that's fine. Iglesias, I think, is better defensively in the infield, and he's been hitting better. Quite frankly, he's been hitting better. So, what do we really lose? We don't really lose much. Do we lose that negative energy that he presents when he fails? I'm not missing that. I'm not missing that. And then also, too, I don't mind the old guard being pushed out. The old guard failed. When I say the old guard, who does that mean? That means Pete Alonso. That means Jeff McNeil. That's why I wasn't really crazy about Conforto coming back. As much as I love Conforto when he was here, that ship has sailed. We've turned the page on that. We are moving in a different direction. We have a different vibe, a new culture. I'm not looking to go backwards. I'm looking to go forwards. And I don't think losing McNeil, as much as he won the batting title 2 years ago, I think that we have the pieces in place to compensate for his absence perfectly, flawlessly. And I think that his temperament, which is not the best, I don't think will be missed. I think, his presence actually may help the team. I think, him taking the pressure off himself and being able to just cheer the team on, that may give him a different perspective and hopefully, turn him around in the future. And I'm not saying he hasn't turned around because he has played a lot better as of late, but, he's not that batting champ that he was a couple years ago, folks. He's not. He's not. That's where Jeff McNeil, that's where we love the squirrel. That's where we loved him. And I want him to get back there. I want him to get back there in the worst way. So, a lot of times things happen for a reason. And I'm hoping, even though it's tough to lose him down the stretch, for him, for his family, for, his fans, you could turn a positive into a negative if you handle it in the right way. So, let's support Jeff too, because he's on our squad. But, I'm trying to say that we put our best foot forward, and I think that this is the perfect team to do that. We've been dealing with adversity this entire year, from Alvarez to Sanga to switching out our entire bullpen to not having Martinez in the beginning of the year. Like we've dealt with adversity after adversity after adversity. I mean, the Pete Alonso kind of saga, leaving, a small nation on base. And I hate to bring up this stat, but Pete Alonso, and today, actually, let me tell you the good before I tell you something bad about Pete. I want to be as fair as possible. So today, Pete's final line. Why is this not coming up? Okay. So Pete today was productive. Today, Pete had a hit. He had an RBI. So I mean, one hit going 1 for 4. I'm saying that's productive, but for him as of late, he hasn't been getting many hits with runners in scoring position. So I'll say he's semi-productive or whatever. But he's left the most runners on base in all of baseball. Coming into this game, he's left 262 men on base in 2024. Now you ask me, okay, what does that mean? Well, I'll give you, I'll tell you what that means. It leads the major leagues in baseball in terms of leaving runners on base. So that means there is nobody better at essentially killing rallies. There's nobody better at leaving men on base than Pete Alonso. The next best guy who leaves people on base is Teoscar Hernandez. I believe he is what I saw latest. He had 256 men that he has left on base. So Pete's got to get a lot better at driving in those runs. That's going to be one of the important things going down the stretch. I'm still waiting for, guys to catch fire. There's a lot of potential that we have in our lineup. Nimmo still hasn't caught fire. Alonso still hasn't caught fire. Alvarez still hasn't caught fire. So we have a lot of top tier talent that has not caught fire yet. Marte, he doesn't have the role that he had, years ago, but there's a guy that I expect a little from, a little more from. I'll say that, a little more from. So, that's what I got for you today. I'm feeling good. We got 9 games in a row. 9 games in a row. Let's let it sink in, folks. Let it sink in. And it's okay to be proud. It's okay to be proud, and it's okay to have confidence in our team. I feel like I'm constantly saying it's okay, and I know I've been through it too. I'm a Mets fan. I've been a Mets fan for a very long time right now. I've been through a lot. 2006, 2007, 2008, 2015 losing the World Series, 2016, 2022. 2023 was a disaster, so 2024, I don't want this hope to be ripped away from us. I'm hoping in the worst way that, we take this run. And I wholeheartedly believe that the New York Mets, that this is different. I keep saying it. We got different leadership. Leadership is everything. Carlos Mendoza. And obviously we got David Stearns on top. I am so confident. And, I believe in my team. I love my team. And, that's what I'm going to end with. So let's go Mets. If you didn't subscribe, please like and subscribe. Mets fans, MLB fans, even if you hate the Mets, come on. Like, subscribe. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And let's go Mets. This is good stuff now. Good stuff here.